What's up, everybody? I hope you are doing awesome. Hey, I've got an awesome one. Got my notes. Quinn Nolan. He has got an amazing story. In fact, he's going to tell you how he built a white label agency. He's got an awesome YouTube channel, by the way, and got like 35 customers in 20 to 25 days, something like that. And he shares everything. He's very transparent. He's more of a creator than he is a regular agency business owner, which gives him a very unique approach. This is a longer episode, but it's worth the listen because of how many details and how much context and color he adds to how he built this agency and this legitimate automated SaaS. So you'll want to pay attention to this one. Quinn Nolan, let's go. What's up, everybody? I got my buddy Quinn Nolan. So I want to jump actually right into something that either I saw you post or maybe you shared with me. And I'm going to read it. This is a post from one of your customers. And he says, sheesh, I just locked up a deal from a Facebook lead campaign in New Jersey only after a week of using NBI. NBI is your white label?
Yeah, new breed.
Okay. It will be closing May 1st with a $38,000 assignment. You say, there we go, baby. He immediately replies and says, correction, I spoke too soon. $40,000 assignment. I just got a bid up from another buyer. So that is your intro. Those are your results just right out of the gate. And Quinn Nolan, introduction. Just go ahead and give everybody a quick intro to you. And then I'm excited to talk to you about, obviously what you're doing with UpHex, but you got some other cool things that I want to explore with the people who watch this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I think kind of the story for me starts with my mom being a real estate agent. And so I was kind of in the real estate business before I even really knew I was in the business, like just going with her to open houses, just being in the culture of real estate. And honestly, like the unpredictability of real estate is actually where kind of like my vision for when I started the agency originated from, because, growing up with a single mom in real estate, like unless you're super on point with either your calling, your advertising, or you have a team or a solid lead source, like being a solo real estate agent isn't, as glamorous as people may think it is, which is also why I think people, when they're trying to get real estate agents as like clients, potentially struggle because a lot of them aren't actual owners that are in a position to potentially either invest into ads or systems or are even ready to like receive the potential of some sort of Facebook ad system or Instagram ads, whatever it is that you're doing. So for me, that was really how I got introduced to real estate, was just, seeing it through my own life. And basically, I went to college and, I kind of just, I wasn't really conscious of why I was going to college. I just kind of just did it basically. And, basically after the first year, I came back home over the summer. I had never worked a job. And I knew that it was like, okay, dude, I'm 19, like I've never worked a job. And what I'm learning at school, like, isn't going to cut it. Like something in me knew that, like, look, if I'm going to do something, like, not that it can't be done at college, but like, I mean, I just knew that something wasn't adding up. Like just me getting good grades and going to school and kind of checking off the boxes wasn't going to really help me design my life the way that I wanted to. So I knew that at that age. And basically I came home that summer and I told my mom, hey, I'm going to get a job and I'm going to figure something out. And I didn't even believe myself personally. Like I just was saying it. And I just never had, and still to this day, I've never worked a job at all. And something in me knew, like, man, I'm just not cut out for like just doing this grind. But I just was like, I'm just going to say it, make it sound good, and kind of just, I honestly didn't know. Like, I can truly say I didn't know. And anyway, I ended up getting a letter in the mail from a company that was offering a job. I, called in for an interview, and then I realized it was actually a sales job. So it was a commission-based sales job for a company called Cutco. And
Yeah.
basically, like, I ended up selling these knives.
Yeah.
So I like go in and I'm like, because they say the way that they position it is like you get a base pay of like $18 an hour, which is only activated if your sales don't override that. And so I thought I was just going in for a job. I was going to make 18 bucks an hour. And I was like, hey, that's pretty good. This was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. That was
Yeah.
pretty good at the time. So anyway, when I get in, they start doing the presentation, they bring out all these knives, and then they kind of like a bait and switch a little bit, because it's called vector marketing. So they don't even say Cutco Cutlery. It's a separate company that actually markets for them. So anyway, by the end of the day, I mean, it was just a quick interview, and it was like, if you could talk and, just kind of like were competent, they were going to say yes. So I had my sales job basically that day. And within the first week, through some family and mostly like parents, friends, I had sold like 10K worth of the knives in like the first week. So I got like promoted to like whatever. I got a free knife set. I got all this stuff. And by the end of the summer, I had sold about 30K worth of these knives. And it was just pretty much, I never followed a script. I never tried to convert and sell people. Like, I'm just pretty much like a natural, no pressure. Like, I just want to connect with somebody. And that was what I did. And, I never really like learned how to do it. I just did it. And so basically what ended up happening was, after that summer, I'd probably made like, I don't know, 10K, no expenses, maybe like 7 to 10K or something like that. No expenses. And I was just like, dude, I thought I was like, I remember I was like, I don't know, like, just when you're profiting that much with nothing, like, those are
Yeah.
even still to this day, I'm like, I remember how I felt, and I was just like, wow, like, I just was like, dude, this
Yeah.
is. So anyway, when that was all like during the summer, when I came back home, and when I had to go back to school for that second semester, or excuse me, first year of the second, or
Yeah.
first
Second.
semester of the second year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I basically, like, I went to school about 5 hours from home. So I had basically just changed my life over the summer. Like, literally, that's how I felt. Like, I was in college, kind of nothing was really going for me. Like, I was just there. I go back home, I make money. Like, I'm just like, I had forgot about college. Like, I wasn't even thinking about it. So I kind of have to go back into that system, and I'm, 5 hours away from home. I had made some friends, like roommates and stuff, but I didn't know anyone like I did, back home. So I was like, man, like, there's something out of alignment. Like, I just achieved something and broke through like a paradigm, and now I'm having to kind of go back into the old system.
Yeah.
It's not adding up. So for me, what I was thinking was like, why I can still, sell these knives. I got to just meet people here, basically, is what I have to do. So I started getting some appointments from friends. It was just, as I look back, I'm like, I don't even know how I did that. Like, selling that, like, I would literally be carrying like fruits and like bringing like all these knives to a demonstration. I'm like, I don't even know how like I did that, because it's like I didn't actually want to be doing it, but I just kind of it was natural to me to talk to people. So the knives were kind of just like the thing that I happened to be selling. So anyway, I made some sales up there with parents of friends that I had, but not a lot. And basically, I was like, dude, why don't I sell these online? Like, I don't know what came through to me, but I was like, why don't I sell these online? So what I started doing is I bought a domain. It was called cutcoq.com. And I basically just started like taking the photos from the Cutco website of like the knife set, because I was a sales rep, and I started basically uploading them to my site. And out pure innocence, like I wasn't like trying to
Right.
do anything bad. I was
Trademarks,
just
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm like, uploading to the website. I'm a rep. Like, why can't I sell them online? So I started advertising it on my personal Facebook profile and just saying like, I'm doing a sale. Like that was my only hook. Like I'm doing a sale, because
Yeah.
I mean, they could buy the knives directly anyway. So long story short, I started making sales online, and I actually started going to the Cutco business page and friending all the people that liked the page. And I was just DMing just all day. And basically, I started making sales in other states without doing a demonstration, which is how that company is like, they kind of verify your validity. It's like you have to do a demonstration, that for whatever the reason, at least at the time. And so I wasn't doing demonstrations. Like I was like, why do I need to do a demonstration? Like people want
Yeah.
to buy it, And I started selling them in like weird like places, like just places that like I was selling all of them here in my hometown, and then they started to see like, what, like how is this happening? They emailed me, said, hey, you have to shut this website down. They revoked my license and basically was like, you can't do this. So I was like, then that was where I like was like, that was like a breakthrough point for me, because I was having success with it, and I was pretty much mentally like checked out of school at this point, and because I was just so obsessed with this opportunity. And then as probably a lot of people did that watch this channel, I saw the Ty Lopez ad, and it was like, start your social media thing. And I used all my money from Cutco. I mean, I had spent most of it, so it was pretty much the last bit of it. And I ended up buying the course, and just was like, man, okay, well, this is what I'm going to start doing. Trying to get social media marketing clients. For anyone that doesn't know, that was an ad, back in 2016, I think, late
Yeah.
2016. And it was this idea of starting your own marketing agency and selling services for $1,000 or more. So,
Yeah.
long story short, during the summer that I was selling the Cutco back at home, there were people that I had met doing my presentations through my mom in the real estate industry. So when I went back home for winter break, after I had went back to school and I went back home, there was an individual in particular that really stuck out to me that I had met doing the presentation, who was an entrepreneur. So I had basically I didn't even do the presentation with him, but I had the intention of doing it. And we just ended up talking for hours. And I was in his office. He was an entrepreneur, had a nice car, had employees. And I had never seen anything like this, single mom. So I didn't like have kind of that father figure around that's like,
Right.
doing well or successful. So I'm just like, when I came back home, I was like, I wanted to reach out to him, because we became friends. And basically I went to his house, we had dinner, and he was telling me about this new business idea that he had and just kind of what he's doing and all this. And he's like, and I'm looking for a social media intern. And I was like, no way. Like I was literally like, no way.
Well,
Like,
you'd already taken the Ty
yeah,
Lopez social media marketing
I
course.
had just bought it.
Amazing.
I think I bought it like November of 2016, maybe October. And then winter break, December of 2016, I went back home for that break.
Wow.
I hit him up and he said that. And I was like, no way. Like, I was like, did my mom tell? Like, I thought my mom, because he's a
Yeah.
lender. So that's how my mom, as a real estate agent, knew him. And they were connected, but not like best friends talking every day now that I'm older and kind of understand the dynamic. So, but I honestly thought she had told him that. And I was just like, dude, did my mom tell you? Like, I just bought this course. He's like, no. He's like, what course? And I'm like, dude, I literally like just set the intention to like finding a client to like help with this. And he's just like, I don't know what he said, but like literally that night, like
Said,
I
let's go.
started, I said, let's go, like, let's do it. And it was free too, by the way. Like I think some people when they're starting,
Yes.
people learn, well, I don't want to speak for people, but when I started, like I knew that the value of just being connected to somebody that had some sort of opportunity for me, adding value to them, like that could be worth far more than, okay, I'm going to charge you now to go and set all this stuff up. So, not that you want to undervalue yourself, but I basically was like, look, I just wanted a shot. Like I didn't care about give me money and like now I'll do it. It was just like I just wanted a shot. So and to this day, by far that has been, financially, like as a friend, just in every aspect you could kind of measure a relationship, that has been by far the most prosperous relationship that I've ever had. And it started free. So I think I just wanted to say that because some people, if you know how to discern, like if somebody really has like the resources and the system behind them, helping them for free to start isn't a bad option. It's only when, somebody could be taking advantage of you or doesn't see the value and they're just trying to like get it for free. But real business owners and like A-player people always know that people should be compensated. So I always felt that from him. I never felt like he was just trying to like take advantage of me. I felt like it was like, hey, like I'm taking a shot on you and you're taking a shot on me. And we just kind of knew. And I mean, we still work together with this to this day. I mean, I go to his house. We're friends. I'm friends with all my clients.
So what's cool, and I want to just pause for a second to highlight a couple of really important points. One, I couldn't agree with you more, especially if you're getting started. The person you start with is really important. They should be somebody that is almost, they're willing to, roll with the punches with you a little bit. They understand you need to learn. And why isn't that okay? If you are starting, you are starting. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think a lot of people try and paint a picture like, oh no, I have some experience. Like you don't have experience and that's okay. Get a couple reps and you will have experience. So I think starting out is with a free customer, free trial, and understanding that I'm working towards one, I'm getting reps. You're going to learn more by doing than by thinking about it. Right. So once you start doing and really start saying, hey, we put money in and got these results out, then you have some experience, you learn something. But there's actually really two important points that I wanted to highlight as you're talking. The first one was just your overall experience is very similar to mine. I mean, I had growing up, my dad was very big on school and my wife was the same way. They're very, I think my father-in-law has like 3 degrees and my brother-in-law has like 2 degrees and one of them's in philosophy. I couldn't be more different. And one of the really interesting things, and for people who watch this channel, likely they're similar to you and I. One of the things that you will notice is divergent thinkers don't necessarily fit in well with convergent thinking environments. Okay. And what that means is divergent thinkers look at a problem, and even if you give them the solutions, they don't want to use them. They want to come up with their own solutions to the problems. So they think from problem outward. Convergent solutions are like, just tell me all the solutions. So when I see the problem, I can just solve it. Right. And so school, getting a job where you're making an hourly wage, where you exchange your time for money. Some people are just wired that way. But I was the same way. As soon as I went to school, I never went for me. I barely graduated. The only reason I graduated was because of the expectations of some important people in my life. And
Mm,
if I would go back in time, honestly, it was a waste of time. And whenever people now, if you're going to school, education is not a waste of time. The right education. Okay. So today, in fact, the crazy thing is today, I spend 1 hour every single morning, well, Monday through Friday, doing education. It's something I
mm,
call windshield time. I get in my truck and I'm listening to a book, a podcast, a YouTube video, something every single day. And I've done
mm,
that for 8 years. Um,
mm,
so that's the first thing is you're naturally a divergent thinker. And I
mm,
think anybody who wants to start a business, if you're a convergent thinker, you can learn to think both ways, by the way. You just need
mm,
to know that they exist and you need to train your brain. Hey, I'm looking for a solution to a problem that I have to find. It's not going
mm,
to come to me. Right.
mm,
So that's a big one.
mm.
And then the second one was when you when you premise your how you identified the niche that you're in now. So I don't know if you know this. I started out as a loan originator. Do you know that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In general, I haven't had an idea. You'd mentioned that.
Yeah, so I had a mortgage company. I started when I was 25 or 26, something like that.
Mm,
And so I'm very familiar with the dynamic of how real estate agents work, how loan originators work. And personally, for me, this was back in 2006. Okay. So
oh,
personally, for me, I know what it's like to be a person who is oriented to sales. And what that
mm,
means is I fill up my pipeline, then I go execute my pipeline, then I go execute those transactions into sales. What have I
mm,
done? I've neglected the pipeline.
mm,
So I would do this personally. I would like it was feast or famine, feast or famine, feast or famine, because there was no really good automated prospecting system. There was no really good organization system. And I know real estate agents today, and I know loan originators today, and they still do the same thing. I am actually kind of blown away by how latent that particular um, group of people are to the party.
yeah,
When they don't know about Facebook ads, when they don't know about CRMs like Highlevel, when they don't know about all of this stuff. And so when you were talking about you were identifying their behaviors and how they don't know what marketing is. They think that marketing is putting a sign in front of a house and putting a listing on the MLS. And if you're a real estate agent, that's not meant as a criticism, that's meant as a dose of reality.
mm-hmm,
Okay. And so what you brought to the table was real marketing, was a real way to say, hey, if you want to fill your pipeline, that is going to mean you need attention at scale, and you need offers that bring people into the top of your funnel daily, or
mm-hmm,
you don't have a real business. You're not going to have a business.
mm-hmm,
So, yeah, I love this story because as you're telling it, I identify with a lot of it.
mm,
I went door to door and sold alarm systems, and I
oh,
would I would sell four to every one that my best friend would sell, and I was just,
wow.
I mean, he's like, "How do you sell so much more than I do?" I said, "I don't know." I don't go selling with you, but I don't know. But anyway, all right. So your niche is real estate agents, and I think you're also now fast forwarded even to a sub niche. So talk to me about how you advanced from that free trial and you started your own white label of Highlevel. So work me through what you're doing today and how you help people, and we'll talk through some of your case studies or something. I
Sure.
think what
Yeah.
you're doing is really cool because even today, where people are kind of maybe in some ways chicken littling with the real estate
Mm,
community, you're crushing it.
yeah. Yeah.
So talk me through that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that I can share around the real estate industry because I think I mean I've just had so much data, and I mean basically from that moment that I took on the free trial, um my skill set was always the digital, the website, the funnel building. That was always where I leaned
Mhm.
in terms of like my direct skill set. So when I got that free trial, I ended up, dropping out of school like 3, 4 months later. And basically I started working specifically with that client. And while we were doing, work together, I was pretty much doing everything. So I'll definitely touch on that and then kind of where it is now, because now it's way more refined. But I think people probably see me or others and it's like, man, it's just so like refined and it's just one thing. And it's like, no, dude, like when I started, literally we were posting like, I was doing websites, funnels, I was posting, I was recording, I was doing everything. So, anyway, I got my cousin to quit his job. I just was like, dude, like there's something here. Like I want to grow this. And basically his skill set was on the video side. So, he's great at photography, videography, editing. He's like the artist. So he was helping me, like he was taking the photos and the videos and I was distributing them. So that was kind of the essence of, where it all began. And then fast forward, I actually ended up going to Ty Lopez's house in like 17 or something. And basically I was there for like a private mastermind and I was kind of doing what I had just said at that time. So we were kind of all over the place, like posting, doing all kinds of content and stuff like that. So it wasn't like a systematic business operation. It was like just doing whatever we could, which is fine. I mean, that all led to, where it is now. But I remember, I'll never forget, I was at the mastermind and there was this guy next to me and, we kind of paused the mastermind for a second and then, we just kind of started chatting and we're talking. I'm like, what do you do? And he basically was like, oh, well, we run ads for gym owners and we get them booked appointments and charge like $1,500. I'm like, whoa, like that was like, whoa, like what the heck? Yeah. He's like, and I just outsource it to a contractor and that's pretty much it. And it just didn't make sense to me. I don't know if anyone has ever, I'm sure a lot of people, you run into people in business that do really well and you're like, they don't really know any much more than you do. And it's kind of blows your mind. So that was how I felt about this guy. I was like, dude, like if this guy's doing this, like I just feel like I'm putting in way more work, time, effort. And that may not be true, but I think people can relate to when you meet someone and they're just like, yeah, I'm just doing that. It's like, how? Like, what do you mean? How are you doing that? Like, and I was like, how many clients do you have? And he's like 20. And I remember we broke the, mastermind. I took out my calculator. It was like, I don't know.
That's 30 grand.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, and then I like went back to him. And then that's when it transitioned from doing kind of posting and distributing to like me realizing I'm going to go to a real estate agent, charge them $1,500 to run their ads and then charge them whatever, $1,000 or more to do the actual ad. So that was that switching point was when I talked to that guy. So long story short, for pretty much, 3 to 4 years, I was just bouncing around in real estate. Like I was working with agents, brokers. I wasn't really attempting to create like a legitimate business. Like I kind of was just like getting them doing ads. And by the time they would get on for a few months, they would leave. So I never had like the resources to hire somebody and like set up all those systems. So that's how, and I think that's why people like my channel, because I kind of show them the nitty gritty of like the actual doing, like running ads, like all that stuff, because I've actually done it. So long story short, I was working with agents for pretty much those, from like, 2018 to like end of, 2020. And so I had gathered a lot of experience and, worked with different types of agents too that wanted buyers, sellers, and so I kind of started to get a really like wide-bodied like experience. Like I was
Mm.
able to see all the different aspects. And then anyway, an investor was introduced to me by a friend, and he was just like, hey, he's like, I know you're working with agents and you're helping them with, you know, buyers and sellers, but like I'm really interested in an off-market deal system. And he was like, I'm working with an agency right now and they're running my ads. But if, you know, you think you could like help, like I would rather work with you because a few of the companies that we're connected with are philanthropic. So we actually go down to Mexico, build houses for people. So this investor was like attracted to
Mm.
that and working with like, he was introduced to me and kind of all of the partners I've worked with because of that. And so he's like, hey, well, I'm sold on this cause. You've got the same skill set. I'd rather redirect my resources to you if you could figure this out, because
Yeah.
I'd rather support this, you know? So that was my shoe in with an investor. And this was December 2020. And basically, you know, if anyone was in real estate in 2021, I mean, 2021 was quite a lucky year. So he signed up with me December 2020. I built him a seller system, which is now the only thing we offer to this day, in various like tiers. We have the do-it-yourself SaaS, and I can talk about that, but I think this story is key. So basically he signed up in 2020 and started running the ads, and he actually had, and this is, I think this is so key, because when I was working with agents, I was just taking what I could get. So this guy actually had a team. He actually
Mm.
had a budget. He actually like was the right kind of like client avatar too. Like he wasn't like very emotional, pretty logical, like business dude. So he was like the perfect type of client for something like ads, because I think people think it's just you put $1 in, you get $2 out the next
Yeah.
day. And like, no, it's like, dude, something can come back 6 months later or whatever.
Yes.
So anyway, he ended up getting 4 acquisitions. So he acquired these properties at a discount and basically decided to flip them. So he got 4 flips in the first 4 months. And I didn't really think anything of it. Like I was still in my real estate agent bubble. I'm like, oh, well, he's making, you know, 10K off of a house. And, you
Right.
know, I just really wasn't thinking anything of it. And I remember when he told me, he's like, no, we're going to make like 220K profit. And this was in like 4 months. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, dude, like when you're flipping and you're doing this, like this is how, and I was like, wait, like I was like, whoa. And then I started like pushing that out. That's how I started getting more investor audience. And anyway, at the end of the year, he had gotten probably like 10 or 12 deals, all with Facebook ads. Still to this day, he's been on reoccurring for over 2 years,
Mm.
never stopped. So if you find the right client, you can really help them a lot. But at the end of that year, I was like, hey, dude, I know we got, you know, some deals. Like, what did you close out the year with, like from the system? And he was like, I could tell this was when I really got introduced to like investing, and investors have taught me a lot. And he could tell he kind of didn't want to say, you know, and I was
Yeah.
just like, how well did you do? And he was just like, he's like, we made about like 600K profit with your system. And I was like, what? I was like, I didn't even I don't care. Some people like care and like, oh, let me get I'm like, dude, it felt like I had worked 4.5 years of my social media agency to career to get that case study. Honestly, that's
Yes.
what it felt like. And some people, I think, you know, they think they just see things and you're just like, oh, he's just took off. I'm like, dude, I worked with literally hundreds of agents. Like I've made courses, I've made products, like I've bounced around so much. And I felt like in that moment, I was like, dude, that is my runway. Like that's what I'm sticking with. That's what I'm boxing up. And that's what I'm going to create more of, And basically from that moment, I just started identifying. It was like I almost did it backwards. Like I did it and then I extracted what I did and then I plugged in all the frameworks I learned, like who is this client, and I started breaking it down. And then I started getting more investors and then more success. And, with that case study that you read at the beginning, this is an individual who found me from YouTube, actually signed up for our do-it-yourself Go Highlevel plus UpHex solution, where basically I already have the snapshot, I already have the frame. All they got to do is watch my 3-minute video, launch an ad, link the form, and they start getting leads. And within real estate investing, you have people that flip and people that wholesale. And so usually their deals are bigger. And so that's how he was able, this guy signed up fully automated from YouTube, launched his own ad with UpHex, and basically probably I got to check in with him because that deal probably closed. But, made 40K from launching his own ad. And so I've just leaned so much into the automation, the AI, the tech, and I think Go Highlevel and UpHex like fits perfectly in that new paradigm, which is like, I obviously have experience with ads and funnels and these things, and I'm telling you, this tool is doing it better than me. So if you stay attached to that idea, like I got to do it, I got to charge so much to do it, you're just going to fight the natural ebb and flow of the market, which is people are finding solutions faster, cheaper, and they're better. And it's like, that's just the way things go. And if you hold on to it, then you're literally just going into the resistance. And I've leaned into it. I was like, hey, there's tech out there that you can launch your ads, and literally, like, I have it on my the website video I sell it on. It's like 1:48 or something. You can literally like click, launch it, and it goes, and it does it without error and without humans and all that, all the stuff I like, So I just leaned into it, and I just was like, look, like, this is an available tool if you would like us to do it for you and manage it and, have that level of support with us. Great. We have that option. But a lot of people, I'm sure, that watch this channel, if you start running out there and trying to get clients, I mean, a lot of small businesses don't have tons of cash they can just invest into some dude trying to figure out ads for them, and that's just the reality. So I just know pretty much who is a client for done for you and who's going to be a do it yourself or done with you. I can pretty much tell from just a few questions and conversation. It's like, if you don't have a team, if you're not renting out some sort of office or something, I mean, and you're solo, you're probably not going to be used to carrying $2,000 of some dude running your ads and then $3,000 on the ads, for 6 months, and maybe you don't get a deal, So, I just leaned into the tech. And so basically now the way that, I got that case study, then I started directing like my focus towards really just off-market deals. We still have agents that use our system because it's still an off-market deal. But that's like our product is like, these templated ads, this templated snapshot, and that's all it is. There's just one of them. There's enough complexity with one snapshot and one business on its own. So that's basically what I've stuck to. And then I just was like, well, let me lean into this tech and come up with a way for people, like an alternative where if they don't want to do it done for you, they can do it themselves. So I ended up getting, when I started launching the UpHex SaaS at the 97, where it was just you do it yourself, like I literally do nothing. I think I got like 35 people in like 20 or 25 days. I mean, keep in mind, I had, influence and just kind of a niche authority in some way or another. But You know, I had gotten people right away, and the reoccurring is nice. And now, present day, like, I actually just posted something right before this, because I want to start modeling Go High Level and even UpHex's affiliate program with my white label SaaS. Cause I'm like, one of the biggest things I want to show people is that you can educate and add value and get customers from doing that. I think so many people see YouTube and these platforms as like the only way to actually make money is if you sell someone what you're teaching. And I'm doing my best to like not do that, but I don't charge anything. I just, if you want to be an affiliate, you get my stuff. But I am really like wanting to pave that model, because to me, it's not natural to like cold call and do these things. Like, that's not my strength. Like, I like to create, I like to make stuff that's dope. So if I can make stuff that's cool that people like, and they start watching me organically and they start buying stuff from me, like, that's a way more enjoyable way for me to do business than feeling like I got to wake up and go out there and prove myself, versus let me make something actually valuable. Let me show people how they can run an ad with UpHex. Let me show you how to run a real ad. Like, let me show you. Here's how long it takes. It takes 40 minutes running an ad, switching it, doing this, thinking of the copy. Like, here's what it would look like. Go ahead. If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Now, here's a tool that I like not own, but like, here's a tool that we have, and here's how you do that. And to me, I'm getting customers and my best calls with investors from YouTube. So I think people think that, you know, you only get people from affiliate or high level stuff on your YouTube. And it's like, I've talked to the top calls I've gotten from actual investors are from my YouTube, because they're interested in high level. They're interested in this stuff. So I really want to show people too that you can get customers by actually providing real value and demonstrating it, not just I got to call and try and convert someone. So that's always been my style. And so for me, the Go High Level plus UpHex combo is like a perfect fit for my brand, because it's like, look, I'll show you everything you need to know. You want to go build it yourself? Have at it. But for $97, you can plug in our fulfillment is copying and pasting that custom link, man, from UpHex.
Whoop.
I mean, it just make sure the custom link's there, and I mean, it's done. Like, I have a mini course, it's all automated, and I don't know, I think it's probably a little bit different than maybe how other people are doing it, but I'm just so bullish on AI, brand, content, and like, I just want to fit, I want my model to fit and be conducive to that ability of like, I like this guy on YouTube, I'm going to sign up automated. I don't want to talk to anyone, and I just want to plug and play and go, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how I've now designed that part of my UpHex Go High Level offering, because I like it. People can just sign up automated. I don't talk to anyone, which I like. So I'm more of a creator and probably fit in that category than like SMMA agency with employees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I like
I,
that
yeah,
route.
I started obviously in the SMMA arena, and I did it for 5 years. I think it was 5 years. Yeah, it was encroaching 5 years before we were able to pivot over to that version of SaaS.
Mm,
And I was almost done. I was almost done with the game. I got in it really, I got in it, had a lot of early success. I mean, I had some kind of case study that I did on like somebody's channels. 25 customers, SMA customers, all paying me $1,500 in like a month, right? And that was pretty cool. Um, but man, when you get into the grind of actually dealing with those business owners and their expectations and their deficits, and quite frankly, I didn't necessarily know
mhm,
their deficits. I didn't know I didn't know how to help them solve those problems.
mm,
It's just a slog, and it really does depend on the niche that you choose. Niche, like niching right is important. Don't just go into whatever niche somebody tells you to. If you do, and you stick at it and you keep with it, you'll eventually, navigate in the correct direction. I think most people do that. Um,
Mhm.
I started in chiropractic, and then I finally kind of narrowed down to like the really high ticket things within that, those psychographics within that audience. And that's
Mm.
where I really ended up thriving. But I want to go back to your YouTube channel.
Mhm.
First of all, I think you did a thumbnail with you in the middle, and then you had Highlevel, and then UpHex. They were like these computer chips, and they had all these circuitry and stuff. I was like, dude, that's so cool. Who made that?
I can get you his info. We found a guy and he started, yeah, we found him and my
Yeah,
cousin did. My cousin has an eye for that. And
so
he just,
cool.
yeah, he started making, you can see all the ones he's made on the channel because I pretty
Yeah,
much didn't make thumbnails. And I just laughed, and then I saw you post it, I think, or something, and
yeah.
it was just funny because like my cousin just handles it, so I didn't even like know, and so I just think it's hilarious because it kind of looks like I'm like a Marvel character. I don't know. It just
It's
is
so
fun.
cool. It is
Yeah.
so cool. It's very eye catching. I was like, oh, I've never seen anybody make the UpHex logo look like that. I'm like, dude, that's so cool.
Dude,
Uh,
that guy's good. He's really good. Yeah. I
yeah,
can
so yeah, so hook me up.
Yeah, for sure.
What I like about your content, and I'll link your channel on the video here, is you do longer form stuff. And here's
Hmm.
why I like that. Um, it takes time to be real. It
Mm.
takes time. Like there's one thing, like we want our food all super processed and we want the sugar high, we want that, right? But
Mm.
if we want a healthy body, we don't eat sugar that way. We grab a whole piece of fruit, we peel it, we do the work. And when I seen you got a video walkthrough of Highlevel that's 5.5 hours long,
Hmm.
and I was like, dang. First of all, I need you to do that same thing for UpHex. Like just
I'm
go
going
through.
to.
I
I'm
love it.
going
I
to.
love it. I don't care if it's 24 hours. No, don't do it. That's too long. But you got a 5 hour long video. I mean, your average video is probably 45 minutes, would you say?
Probably, yeah.
Something. But they're good, dude. Like they're good because it shows every click. It shows and you say what they are. If somebody wanted to, and I think you should, by the way, even if you're using UpHex, you can use UpHex and you can almost hack, uh, maybe
Hmm.
not hack, but skip learning the fundamentals of Facebook ads. Like you could literally download a template from UpHex. It's got all the targeting, it's got all the stuff in there. You could say, hey, I know that these ads need to be like, I need better images. You send that to like Design Pickle. You could literally do that and have a library of ads and be generating leads,
Yeah.
but not have the foundation. So I do think
Yeah.
that people should take the time to hone their craft. And I would recommend your channel. If they're like courses on how to run, you have courses on how to run Facebook ads, like a
Yeah.
video is a course.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
that's what I like about those is it's like, hey, this is what the screen looks like. This is what you do here. This is why we set this budget. This is why we set this targeting. So if you guys are watching this, I'd say the the storyline and where Quinn's come from is important. Like modeling this, finding a niche, finding your product market fit. That's all really important. And even listening to other people other than me is important. But I would say try and look for the people that are doing the thing.
Hmm.
I see a lot of people out there that are putting channels together and they're not doing the thing. Now, if you were putting a channel together, showing people like you do, showing
Hmm.
people how to run Facebook ads for whatever thing it is, and you're just getting started, as long as you say, hey, follow me on my journey to get started and your
Hmm.
progress, that's all that's cool. But if you're
Hmm.
putting up a front and like lying to people, that will not pay. It will not pay
Hmm.
long run. It will not definitely not. I mean, it might pay a little bit in the short run, but in the long run, it will really crush you. So I'll say go watch Quinn's channel. There's a lot of really good stuff there. Um, let's wrap it up.
Cool.
If somebody's watching this, and I'm going to direct this to a certain demographic that I personally feel like, I don't know how to say this. It's like my mission to help. That
Mm,
sounds corny, but
mm,
um, if they are a high level person, a high level UpHex person, or thinking about doing that, or even just in the SMA SaaS with that space, if they're there
mm,
and they don't have a customer or they have less than five, that to me is like that five customer barrier, like five client barrier is the barrier to where I'm like, this is your breakout moment. When you get
mhm,
five, you've proven you can get five. That means you can get 50. That means you can get 100.
mhm,
Um, what do you go back in time, or maybe like, what would you tell that person? Hey, you got some time, or you've got an offer here. What would you tell them to do to get past five?
mm.
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here.
Yeah. I actually find the thing that I'm gonna say is the thing that I still go back to get more clients for myself, which is really like for me, and this is like I said, I'm speaking from me and how I've designed my life and my business. So depending on what someone's trying to design, this may not fit. Um, but really giving people like what they want and understanding that you can't control every single factor that goes into, helping this person with their business. But the reason I've been able to get clients and really keep clients, I've kept clients for years, literally years.
Yeah.
It's because I know how to make sure that they feel like they're getting more than what they paid for. And sometimes that means doing stuff that's not on the script, that's not on the
Yeah.
document, that's not on the course, that's not the in the SOP.
Right.
And so that's what I do. I call clients like I'm if I were to crystallize it into one thing too, the same way that people proactively send outbound messages to try to get clients. If you have one client, uh be proactively looking for problems in their business and giving them insight about how you could solve them, or just solve them and tell them how you solved it. Because sometimes, like when I started, I only had that one client, and it didn't really make sense to go and get potentially that other client at the time, because I knew there was a bigger opportunity. They were introducing me to their friends. I was going to events with them. So I was already getting, around people from this one client. And, I think now that SMMA and these different things have become so labeled and their actual business models,
Yeah.
they get boxed up. And so people just, oh, well, it's out of the box. I just want to collect my money, run the ad, and do that. And
Yeah.
it's not the answer people maybe want to hear, but like I call clients and I'm like, if they're telling me they're not talking to leads or whatever they're telling me, like I want to make sure that they're feeling like I'm there as an actual support system for them. And my company is there to like truly help them succeed. And yeah, we can't promise it's going to always go that way. But I notice when I can feel it when a client is like, it's gone too long, we haven't talked, and I'm just putting them in a box of they're paying me this amount,
Yeah.
and it's nice not doing anything, and hopefully they're good. But it's doing kind of the unscalable things, the things that
Yes.
give you a strategic advantage. Because if you're starting, you're not a billion-dollar company with funding and tons of resources and employees where you can just do nothing. It's like you have the advantage to say, look, like I care, like I may not have this, but I got heart. I put my effort into it. And I really feel like, and I think this is important to say too, like I've ran quite a bit of Facebook ads, like quite a bit. And I've done it thousands of times. But I guarantee you, there are people way better than me that have ran the same amount of ads, but I've kept clients longer and built a bigger business because I understand the power of like communicating
Yeah.
in the service, like the process of the service, and being proactive. Like there's people way more technical than me that like are analyzing this placement and all these other things that I probably, haven't done. But I've been able to keep those clients because I care about the main thing, which is like, are they happy? And when they're expending that money to go out, like, do they feel like they got that value? And I think that's what I would say is like, that first client, if you're trying to get that first client, like, don't worry about the next one and the next one and systemizing all of it when you're starting. Like, I just took that client, he said yes, and I just was like literally I'll do anything. And I feel like, you know, obviously as that scales, you can't do that, but you'll get natural feedback. And when you get to the 10 clients and 20 and you start systemizing it, then that's fine. But, do the unscalable things, like use the strategic advantages that you have, which is probably time, connection, you may be local, hang out with people in person too. Like, I've built a lot of my business locally and I get referrals because of that. So people hit me up all the time and they're trying to automate, 500 DMs a day. I'm just like, dude, why don't you just talk to like, I don't know, that's just maybe my style, but when people are trying to automate this, I'm like, dude, you're missing the obvious. What about the person right there in front of you? And you're trying to automate and get 500 people. And, like that's just where I've always had my advantage is like, I did personal outreach video. All of my outreach I've ever done is personalized. I've never done a automated thing. And I would get like 85% open rates and people would call me and message me because I was like actually putting time going in on their website. And it's not the answer that's AI automated chat GPT, but when people get that amongst all the others, they're like, dude, this guy's actually talking to me. Like, I've got my best clients from that type of an outreach style. So,
I couldn't agree more. When we switched from the SMMA model to the SaaS model, something really surprising happened. And it's not like something we planned for, it just happened. We were charging $1,500 a month, and then we went over to now $297 a month. That was our initial pricing. And we got a bunch of clients. But what was crazy was the amount of service calls and the amount of issues that we had from people who were paying us $1,500 a month. They like went away. So all of a sudden, Heather, who now runs my agency, she was our customer support person. And on a daily basis in the SMMA model, she didn't have enough time to do what you're talking about because she was putting out so many fires. And then we shifted over to the SaaS model. Everybody was running their own ads. And all of a sudden, she's got all this free time. And so she started doing what you're talking about. She started reaching out to people. She started saying, how you doing? This, that, and the other. Dude, our churn, and it was partially because of the price. So being transparent. If something's $1,500, something's $300, obviously churn is going to be affected by that. But man, our churn just went like away overnight. And I always, if you go to any of our team meetings at our agency, if we get a new team member, one of the things I always say is, with lack of information, people make up their own, and it's never to your benefit. Right. And so you can say the same with lack of communication, people make up their own. And so for us, we're really big on proactive support in a lot of different ways, whether that's group trainings, where I'm very deliberate on my onboarding calls. When I onboard somebody, it is like, I have a video, re-education video. I want them to see this is a different experience. And then when they go through that thing, I want them to launch their ad on the onboarding call. We got to give them that win.
Mm.
But then after that, there's group meetings, there's reach outs. People who have Slack, we give them direct access into our Slack. And they, we do have some clients that like communicating that way. But to your point, yeah, I mean, my team has a relationship with people. We got lots of clients, right? And sometimes it's not scalable, but sometimes you can even make the not scalable things scalable in a way, like offering, workshops and things like that will benefit, the people. It's not there to sell them. It's there to help them solve common problems within their clinic, for example. But yeah, dude, I think you're hitting the nail right on the head. And I'll sum it up with this. And I think you kind of were saying a similar thing. People in this business expect to jump in and have not just the easy button, because it is an easy button in many ways, but they don't necessarily they don't either realize or want to develop business skills like entrepreneurial skills, service, product, improving your product, iteration. And you got to get those skills. You got to get better all the time. If you're not iterating, you're not going to be in business very long. Right. And that's what I've heard from you is just over iteration, product improvement, delivering the outcome. That's the other thing, delivering the outcome for your customer. If you do that, you help them, you win. So,
Totally.
awesome, buddy. Thanks for coming on and sharing
you.
all this stuff. This has been awesome, man. I threw your name in the hat for my buddy Rob Bailey, who's starting up a cool podcast.
Oh, thanks.
I threw your name in the hat. I said, this is a great guy to talk to. I like people who are building businesses, and I see that's what you're doing. So thanks for coming, buddy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Thank you for having me.